My fiancée didn't cheat on me, but her sister did. I canceled the wedding, and now I'm free. I literally need to get this off my chest. I feel like I am going insane. My fiancée, Amanda, 28F, and I, 34M, have known each other for about 6 years and been engaged for 1. Our wedding is scheduled to take place in just 2 weeks, and I just witnessed something that is making me feel like I am making the biggest mistake of my life. Tonight, Amanda and I were taking a rare opportunity to relax at home. Amanda was in the kitchen making dinner while I was out back working on one of my projects. We live on acreage, and I am building a pergola/fire pit in the backyard that we were planning on using this fall. Anyway, as you do when you are doing heavy labor, I got thirsty and came back to the house to get a drink. That is when I saw Amanda at the counter preparing dinner and talking on speakerphone. I recognized the voice instantly as my brother-in-law, Jason. Now, this is where my brain gets totally twisted. Jason asks Amanda where his wife, Lauren, is, as he has been trying to get in contact with her and she is not answering texts. I hear Amanda say to him, "She just left here. She should be home in a half hour or so." It should be noted that Lauren is Jason's wife of 5 years. I have to admit that I did not immediately register what she had just said because I went into the kitchen, grabbed a glass, and asked Amanda, "What was that all about?" She responded, "Jason was looking for Lauren." I saw her texting and asked, "What are you doing?" She said, "I am texting Lauren that Jason was looking for her." Anyway, I pour myself a drink, sit down, have a sip, and then finally my brain starts to work. First off, I heard Amanda tell Jason that Lauren was here. Lauren was not here, and the last time we saw her was yesterday when she came over to work on some last-minute wedding decoration stuff with Amanda. Secondly, why is she texting Lauren and expecting a response when I distinctly heard Jason say that Lauren was not answering his texts? Lastly, why would she tell Jason that Lauren should be back in 30 minutes unless she either knows where Lauren is and lied about it, or is, right now in front of me, texting her to tell her to get home quickly? The only conclusion I could come up with is that Amanda is lying to Jason about the whereabouts of his wife, Lauren, and is probably warning her that Jason will expect her home in half an hour. I then spent probably the next 5 hours concocting various explanations for this behavior. Some reasonable, some downright horrible, and playing them over and over in my head. I wanted really badly to ask Amanda about this, but at the same time, if what I think is going on, then I doubted I would get a straight answer. Which brings me to about an hour ago. I woke up around 1 a.m. to use the bathroom, and I could not resist the urge to check Amanda's phone. We both know each other's pins, so this was not a difficult task. Anyway, I grabbed the phone, retreated to the bathroom, and unlocked it. And yup, it was exactly what I was afraid of and probably what most of you were expecting. Amanda's sister, Lauren, has been having an affair for about 6 months with a coworker, and Amanda has been helping Lauren cover it up for almost the entire time. There are literally hundreds of texts between them discussing it, talking about the coworker, mentioning intimate details, really embarrassing things about my brother-in-law Jason, and probably unfair things. Just stuff that makes my stomach churn. And here is my soon-to-be wife going along with all of it without batting an eye. I took some screenshots of the entire thread, put the phone back where I found it, and then retreated to my home office. That is where I find myself now, typing it all out, just to avoid the primal scream that wants to escape from my throat right now. I am totally 100% screwed. Reddit, I cannot marry Amanda. I just cannot do it. I cannot think of any reasonable excuse she could offer me about assisting her sister in this affair and hurting not only Jason but their 2-year-old daughter as well. On the other hand, my family, Amanda's family, and I have all sunk an enormous amount of money into this wedding, which is supposed to happen in just 2 weeks. There is no way we are getting any of that money back. On top of that, I feel like a complete fool. How did I not know this woman was like this? And what am I supposed to do now? Cannot marry her. I absolutely cannot. But the worst part is, I still want to. She is beautiful, fun, kind, and I thought we had a bright future ahead of us. She has never done anything wrong to me personally, but I cannot see her the same way anymore. It is like a big, black stain on an otherwise beautiful picture. I just do not know how I got this so wrong, and I am absolutely dreading doing what I know I need to do. I feel like I want to vomit or break something. Guys, you do not need to convince me not to marry Amanda. That is obvious, the wedding is off. I am just trying to figure out my next steps and work up the nerve to do it. There is an incredible amount of pressure on me from everyone's expectations, but I am not going to buckle under it. I am just not looking forward to dealing with the fallout, and I am more than a little angry that I am in this situation. It is 5 a.m., I have work in 3 hours, and I am running on just a couple of hours of sleep. I am going to take a shower and head into work a little early to avoid Amanda and stew on this. Thanks to the supportive people here, and a big raspberry to the people who keep saying I should figure out whatever good reason my soon-to-be ex-fiancé had for this mess. I got into work around 7 a.m. Since no one else was in the office, I decided to start pulling off the band-aid and called my brother. He lives in Australia, so he was still awake after putting his kids to bed. It was hard to break the news to him because I know he has spent a huge amount of money on flights for him and his family to attend the wedding. But to his credit, as an older brother, he did not bring it up once and just backed me up. He made a great point, too, he said, totally paraphrasing. You work in a job where you have to deal with liars and scammers day in and day out. I do not blame you for wanting somewhere to go where that is not a concern. He was completely right, and now I understand why I am reacting so strongly to Amanda's participation in this deceit. He also had a great idea. His family was planning to visit Florida to do some sightseeing and explore the parks. And now their trip will include me as well. Since we were supposed to honeymoon there and meet up with them anyway, it should be easy to rebook everything. I will offer Amanda's ticket to either my sister or another family member. Right now, I am just trying to make myself sick by drinking cup after cup of coffee, trying to distract myself until the day gets far enough along that I can reach out to Jason. I just finished the morning stand-up meeting, but my stomach is doing flip-flops from drinking about 2 pots of coffee since I got in so early. I absolutely cannot focus or concentrate. I feel like I cannot do anything more from my side until I tell Jason what I know. So I am going to take a sick day, drive over to his house and see if he is around. If not, I will call him and track him down. Jason is a teacher who is on break right now, and Lauren works a 9-to-5 job like me, so the odds are good this will work out. Wish me luck, guys. I got to Jason's house a little after 10 a.m. He had just put his daughter down for a nap, and we had a long, frankly brutal conversation in the kitchen. Essentially, he had suspected something for a couple of months now, but Lauren had been very good at covering her tracks, obviously with the help of Amanda and a couple of their mutual friends. Unfortunately, I do not have all 6 months of text messages. Just a couple dozen screenshots I sent to myself from Amanda's phone. I gave Jason what I had and offered to help him however I could. I am a field analyst in the Special Investigations Unit, SIU, department of a mid-sized insurance company specializing in workers' compensation fraud. So I know a few things and a few people. Now I am sitting in Jason's kitchen, working from my laptop, trying to salvage whatever I can. Tonight, I am going to have to talk to Amanda and let my friends and family know what is going on. I have already rebooked most of the honeymoon. There was a slight issue with Amanda's ticket because she was flying under her maiden name, and the airline has a surname rule for name changes. Thankfully, they allowed me to cancel her ticket, get a partial refund, and rebook it for my sister, who will now be joining her 2 brothers and nieces on their trip to Florida in a couple of weeks. I am holding off on canceling the wedding venues until I have spoken to Amanda because I do not want to tip anyone off until Jason has a chance to confront Lauren. However, I will absolutely be letting my family and friends know this afternoon and begging them to keep it quiet for now. Right now, I am in a frenzy, canceling everything I can. I am heading to the bank in a bit to open a new account and get my bills and payments sorted out. Regarding the finances, some people have asked about this. It should be manageable. The mortgage is in my name since we are not married, and I have the larger income. However, Amanda did contribute about $20,000, compared to my $60,000, toward the down payment. I will likely have to pay her back that amount and a portion of the mortgage payments from the past 16 months. But it could be worse. First off, I want to say something. I do not hate Amanda. I do not approve of what she did, and I frankly find it repulsive. I am shocked to discover how two-faced she can be in how she treats people. But I do not hate her. I am just incredibly sad about everything. The I am screwed part of my earlier post is about the short time frame I am working under. Basically, our relationship is at a point where I cannot marry her, but the wedding is supposed to happen in 2 weeks. Maybe if we had 2 months, or better yet, a year to work through this, my approach might be vastly different. But I do not have that luxury. I have to act now. There is no way I can enter into marriage with the state our relationship is in right now, so I am not going to. End of discussion. Anyway, I will check back in later tonight to update you on how everything goes today. Hopefully, it will be less traumatic than I am anticipating. It is about 8:30 p.m. right now, and I am writing this from my buddy's house. His name is Ryan, and he is a former coworker of mine who also works in the same field. As I mentioned in a previous update, I work as a field analyst in the SIU department of a mid-sized insurance carrier. For those unfamiliar with the term, I am basically a private detective. My job is to investigate potential fraudulent claims related to workers' compensation. Anyway, as I hinted earlier, Jason asked for my help in finding out who the other guy was that Lauren was cheating with. All we had to go on was a name. Let us call him Ben. The first thing I did was not some major sleuthing, but simply going through LinkedIn to see if I could find the guy through Lauren's connections. That search came up empty, which I found strange. Jason had told me that Lauren mentioned going out for drinks tonight after work and said she would not be home until around 9 or 10. He did not need to tell me what he suspected. I understood right away. I told him I would help, but he needed to come with me. I then contacted my buddy Ryan, explained the situation, and got him to agree to meet us later in the day. The first thing we did was drive over to Jason's parents' house so they could watch their granddaughter. I do not know what Jason told them, as I stayed in the car. After that, we went to Lauren's workplace. It is one of those large commercial strip mall-type centers with a row of nondescript offices and a big, ungated parking lot. We drove around until we found Lauren's car, and Jason unlocked it using the second set of keys. I gave him a voice-activated recorder and a GPS tracker to place in the car. Once he finished, we left, parked a bit down the street, and waited for my friend Ryan to arrive, and for Lauren to leave the building. Ryan shows up about 20 minutes later, hops in the car with us, and around an hour after that, Lauren comes out of her office with two of her girlfriends and a tall, younger-looking man with sandy blonde hair. They are obviously holding hands, and I am like, damn, Lauren, you are making this easy for me. I take a couple of pictures from the car and then wait for Lauren to leave in hers so I can start tracking her. At first, I thought she might head straight to a hotel or something, but instead, she drove to a reasonably nice bar and grill in a nicer part of town and parked on the street. I drove by as she was getting out of her car and entering the establishment, then found my own parking spot and went over the plan. First, we sent Ryan in since no one knew him. He had two main jobs. First, to try and get any compromising pictures of Lauren and Ben, and second, to be my alibi. Jason and I waited in the car for about 20 minutes until I got the first text message from Ryan. The texts were pictures of Lauren and Ben making out in front of their two female coworkers. Jason's suspicions were right. The coworkers were helping Lauren hide the affair from him. He was visibly upset and angry, especially because one of the coworkers is married, and as a couple, they are good friends with Jason and Lauren. Both families even have toddlers around the same age. I asked Jason if that was enough for him, but he said he really wanted to know who this guy was. I tried to tell him we could figure it out later, but he was practically begging me at this point. So, I told him to wait, texted Ryan that I was coming in, and then entered the bar myself. The first thing I saw was Lauren and her group laughing and drinking at one of those tall round tables near the front window. I stopped for a moment, pretended to be surprised, and then called out to her. Lauren, hi, what are you doing here? She was clearly shocked to see me, and everyone around her immediately tensed up. Lauren quickly introduced me as her sister's fiancée and mentioned that we were getting married in 2 weeks. There were lots of congratulations from everyone. I thanked them and then stuck out my hand to the... I extend my hand to the blonde guy and introduce myself with my full name, hoping he will respond in kind. He does, and I am a bit taken aback. His name is not Ben. I introduce myself to everyone else, then tell Lauren that I am here to meet a coworker. I wave to Ryan and excuse myself. Once I get over to Ryan, I tell him the guy's name, and we both pull out our phones to investigate. It does not take long to find him. He has social media profiles and even a couple of court case judgments against him. Everything clicks when we discover that Ben is actually his middle name. At this point, I am just relieved that Lauren is not cheating on Jason with two different coworkers. It turns out that Ben is 26, married, and has a 1-year-old daughter. This just keeps getting better or worse. I text Jason the guy's name and decide to push my luck a bit. I tell Jason to wait a few more minutes while I essentially babysit the situation at the bar. I stay completely visible to Lauren and her group, and I can see out of the corner of my eye that no one in her crew is particularly happy about my presence. My being there is clearly ruining their night, which is exactly what I wanted. I let this go on for about 10 minutes, then tell Jason to text Lauren that he is spending the night at his parents' house with their daughter. Not long after, I catch Lauren taking out her phone, showing it to Ben, and then the entire group deciding to pack up. Lauren comes over to me, says goodnight, and asks if Amanda and I want to come over for dinner this weekend. I smile, say that sounds like a great idea, and wish her and her coworkers a good night. Ryan and I wait for them to leave, then pay our bill and hurry back to meet Jason. There was a bit of hesitation here because we were not exactly sure what Lauren was planning to do. I half assumed she might have already booked a hotel room and was heading there, which would have made things more complicated and limited what I could do. However, it seemed like tonight was just meant to be drinks at the bar, until Jason decided to spend the night at his parents'. That seemed to change the situation. Lauren made a beeline for home, and we followed behind her, keeping well out of sight and parked down the street. It did not take long before another car pulled into Jason's driveway. We saw Ben get out, walk up to the door, knock, and be greeted by Lauren. They went inside together. At this point, it was around 7:30, and I had my own things to deal with. As a friend, I felt I had done all I could for Jason, and he could handle the rest himself. I mean, I felt bad for the guy, definitely, but I did not want to get any more involved in this drama than I already was. Playing wingman while he confronted his cheating wife was a bit much for me, especially considering my own situation. Jason said it was fine and that he would take care of the rest on his own. Guess he is more of a man than you thought, Lauren. He went to Lauren's car, retrieved my gear, and we said goodbye. That was almost 2 hours ago. I did get one text message from Jason saying it was done and that he was going to his parents' house, for real this time. But my phone has not been blowing up, so I do not know what has been going on with Lauren since then. I have been at Ryan's place since leaving Jason. I think that basically concludes my part in Jason's story. If he was smart and followed my advice, he was recording with his phone when he went into the house. I will find out later. Now, my biggest priority is heading home to tell Amanda that the wedding is off. She is almost 100% going to take it badly. There is no way she will not. But as I said, I cannot get married to her right now. I do not know what the future holds for us, or if we will be done with each other or not. But one thing is certain. We are not getting married anytime soon. Also, for the people who keep asking, why didn't you talk to her first? Why didn't you confront her? I have to say, are you people serious? She blatantly lied right in front of me to her brother-in-law, someone she has known for about 10 years and supposedly thinks of as a really great husband and father. Maybe you are naive enough to think that someone who can lie so coldly to someone they are supposed to care about would suddenly tell you the truth. But I am not wired that way. Until that moment, I never had any reason to second-guess Amanda or doubt her trustworthiness. But she proved herself to be untrustworthy right in front of me. Am I supposed to let that slide or expect her to be honest with me after that? I guess some of you do not know what it feels like to have your entire perception of someone shift in an instant. It is disorienting and, frankly, panic-inducing. Honestly, I am impressed that I kept my head and followed my instincts instead of confronting her immediately, because doing so led me to the truth. If I had pressed her right away, it would have been ridiculously easy for her to lie to me and delete those text messages. If she had done that, I would never have read the horrible things she said, never realized how two-faced and deceitful she can be, and never understood how little I actually knew about her. I am heading home to talk to Amanda. I will update later to let everyone know the final verdict, but do not expect it to be a good one. Well, I had the talk with Amanda last night. It was pretty insane. I am honestly burnt out and still exhausted, even though I took another sick day and slept in until almost 11:45. Sleep deficit is no joke. I know everyone is eager for updates, but as much as writing them is therapeutic for me, I am absolutely drained. As you may have noticed, I do not know how to be brief. Just call it a quirk of my profession and the endless minutiae-filled reports I have written over the years. Long story short, I came home to talk to Amanda about canceling the wedding and found her comforting Lauren on the couch. I almost turned around and walked out, but I did not. Words were exchanged. Tears were shed. People got really angry, and the cops were called. I collapsed afterward and slept for about 10 hours. My phone is practically glowing from the heat of countless unread messages and missed calls. If it vibrates anymore, I might take it to Lauren's office and charge $10 a minute for people to sit on it. Stuff is really up in the air right now. I have a lot to do today. My family already knew what was happening by yesterday afternoon, but I need to contact some friends and tackle other things today. I am just going to answer a couple of questions here, and then take a break to get stuff done. First, I am not James Bond. I am the guy who follows the disabled construction worker to his Zumba class or skydiving lesson. I have been doing it for about 5 years, and I am pretty good at it. Nothing I did went beyond a $50 GPS tracker you can buy on Amazon and a tiny bit of social engineering. You might be surprised how far social engineering can get you, but whatever. Second, I am off the clock on the mysterious case of Jason and the Hobag Hobgoblin. Whatever Jason decides to do with the information he has, including contacting the other wife, is on him. I am not interjecting myself into this mess any more than I already have. Jason is a good friend, but I have my own little world collapsing right now. Now that I no longer have my moral indignation to distract me, the weight of everything is becoming a bigger burden than I had been letting on. Third, I am not an aspiring screenwriter or novelist. However, I do write a lot of reports. You have no idea. Most of my life is spent hunched over a laptop, writing reports or transcribing statements. For every hour I spend doing fieldwork, I probably spend 10 hours doing paperwork or research. Fourth, you are right. I was wrong to leave Jason to handle it alone. I did not have any fear, not even an iota, that Jason would do anything reckless, but I did not properly account for the risks he was facing. That is a personal failing of mine. It is not that I do not care. I just tend to assume that other people handle things the way I would. Because Jason was doing something I would do, I did not question it like I should have. I know this is a problem of mine, and I am working on it. But I am also not in the best emotional place right now, so my emotional intelligence was lower than it should have been in this situation. Last, to the people saying, "You do not know the whole situation. What if Jason was an abuser? Yada yada yada." No, buddy, you do not know the whole situation. I do. I read 6 months of text messages. I know why Lauren did what she did. I know how she feels about Jason. I know how my ex-fiancée played along with this. I am just not sharing it because it is vile, but I know. And it played a significant role in how I have acted over the last day and a half. Trust me, if Amanda had done anything, other than encouraging and egging on Lauren, we probably would not be here. But she did, so here we are.